My name is Ryan Frankel. I'm 17 years old and I'm a junior at Scituate High School. For the past 16 years, my family and I lived in the town of Wilton, Connecticut, located just 45 minutes outside New York City. Living in an area like southwestern Connecticut, we know December 14th, 2012 very well. It's just one of those dates that we cannot forget. It's will go down as one of America's worst mass shootings in history. I was in my 6th grade math class when Adam Lanza slaughtered his way through the halls of Sandy Hook Elementary School, just 15-20 minutes away from where I was in middle school. My teachers all had kids that attended Sandy Hook. I remember the fear and the tears rushing down their faces. We had no teachers for the rest of the day. No one told us anything about what went on. No one told us anything about what happened. We were dismissed from school in small groups. There were police cars parked outside the school grounds. And I distinctly remember that there were just too many to get the full number. That's when I just knew that just wasn't right. It just didn't seem right. It just didn't feel right. It just seemed very hectic and out of place. Like, there was no need. In my head, it was like, why are we getting dismissed all together and just not getting out to the bus like I usually do, just leaving class and go out to the bus. I remember the hecticness of, like, the administration and the school trying to get the kids onto the bus and out of the school and get them home as quick as possible. I remember seeing parents who were very blessed and happy that their kids were there, knowing that they were safe, knowing that this was going on a community over from us. We're just happy that they were okay and glad that they were alive. I walked into my house to see my mom crying at the television. It's just so hard to believe that this happened to a community just like Newtown, a place that was so close to home. I had friends who were affected by this firsthand, and to me, it almost felt like every town in Connecticut took a bullet to the heart. It felt like I took a bullet to the heart. Weeks later, the panic attacks and the anxiety finally kicked in. That constant fear of someone after me, trying to murder me in my sleep, murder me at school. Knowing that all children, not just at home, but throughout the rest of the country, were potential targets. My brother and I would close the curtains next to our Christmas tree because of how afraid we were, even in our own home. Not just at school, but in our own home. That's how afraid I was. That's how I couldn't bear, and that's how afraid it was for myself in that place. Here we are 5 years later, and over 1,600 mass shootings to this day. That includes the non-school shootings, San Bernardino, Sutherland Springs, and Charleston, and even Orlando. Today, we remember the 17 victims that were killed in their classroom, and Congress still hasn't done a single thing. I may not have lived in Massachusetts long enough, but I want to make sure that no one, not just in Massachusetts, but throughout the rest of the country, does not go through the effects of gun violence. From my experience, kids in Newtown, their experience, kids in Parkland, their experience. That's why I'm making this video, and that's why I'm fighting. I'm fighting for all of you, all the viewers, all the students, all the people, all of you guys. How would you feel if you had to do lockdown drills every single month, knowing that this is so preventable? When my dad lived in Michigan at the age of 10, the only thing that he feared of most at school was a tornado. We can't stop weather from happening, but we can stop that perfect storm of mass shootings, school shootings. More than 21.5% of kids aged between 13 and 18 live and experience with a severe mental illness. That's 1 in 5 kids. So if that's the case, why aren't we regulating who can purchase semi-automatic weapons? This isn't just a mental health issue. This isn't just about the mass media and their news coverage. This is about our rights as teens, our 9th Amendment right for a better education being taken away from us so carelessly. We as students, we as Americans, we all have something in common. We all have dreams, passions, that we hope to fulfill someday. I want to be a freelance journalist. I want to travel the whole world, go places where no one has ever gone, places where my own life would be at risk. I want to write about my adventures and bring them back to people just like you because we deserve the facts. But when will the government realize that kids and people just like us have dreams that we hope to fulfill someday? We have dreams of our own, that we are trying to fulfill those dreams with every step we take every single day. But to fulfill those dreams, we deserve an education in schools where children and kids do feel safe and comfortable to grow and thrive. I refuse to live in a mass shooting generation where this happens every single week. That I fear of being murdered with a bunch of kids, with a bunch of classmates that I'm still connecting with. That my classmates back home will have to relive the pain and sorrow through another school shooting. That my parents will have to send their kids off to school with bulletproof backpacks. Look at this. Look at this. This is reality. That we carry some shield everywhere we go. Teachers are armed with guns in front of their students. To all the 18-year-olds that are watching this, that are in this country, do us all a favor. When November comes, get yourself out there and vote. Vote like no American has ever done before. Get involved with your local government. Contact your congressmen, your senators. Tell them and show them who you are and what you are made of. As the teens in this country, we will bring change. No matter what political spectrum you are, you will bring change someday. Change will come. I'm a Promise Leader for Sandy Hook Promise. It's a nonprofit organization that helps students and help educate teachers and parents about the signs of a mass shooter and how to prevent mass shootings in schools like ours across the country. Ever since I've started at my new school in Massachusetts, I have been pushing my school to work with this organization and to learn from their initiatives. And now I think it's the right time to continue to move in that direction. For the victims of Florida, we are all fighting for you. Continue to feel optimistic. And together, change will come someday, and we are the ones that will bring it. We as students, parents, teachers, friends, and families will continue to fight stronger than ever to bring change to action. Now let's start a revolution. A teenage revolution. I'm fed up. I'm angry. I'm aggravated. And I can't go to sleep without knowing, like, this is reality. This is still going on. Like, mass shootings and school shootings, like, I still have to fear that this is still going on. Today, like the shooting in Maryland, the high school shooting down in Maryland, like that's still like ridiculous, and it's good that this movement is still going on and it's empowering us to continue to go forward. I'm also doing this because I'm creating this video because I'm also just kind of aggravated. I feel that my voice and my story isn't getting out there, and it isn't, getting heard. I wouldn't say, like, it's almost on the lines, like, other kids are beating me to it, or beating already ahead of me of what they are doing, like, when it comes to this movement. But, I'm not doing this to get the fame of the media. I'm not doing this to say that, like, oh yeah, I was on the news. I'm doing this because this is important. This is important stuff, and people need to listen to other people, regardless if it's not something that they care about, regardless that doesn't concern them. But it's a story, and it's something that people need to understand. I'm a new student to my town. My family and I moved back in August. I'm one of the leaders and organizers of the walkout at my high school. I gave a speech in front of 500 kids. Pretty scary, actually, because I'm doing a speech in front of, kids that I don't really know, and I'm still kind of connecting with. But what kind of made it interesting is because I wanted them to understand what it's like to have a fear thinking that someone was going to come after them in school. People in Massachusetts need to understand. People in my town need to understand. People in this country need to understand. When I mean people, I mean the adults and other kids need to understand how this is a very, very big problem that we need to solve together. If you are watching this, please, I beg of you to share this video, to show people that this is something worth fighting for. This is something that we need to start doing, and this is something that we need to get involved in. I'm willing to go all the way to show them that this happened, and that this is something that I'm pushing off of to make sure that we get change, that we demand action, and that we get what we deserve as students. As one of the organizers, we wanted it to be a moment of just a nonpartisan walkout. I really wanted it to be a time kids can come together from whatever side you are on and to come out and say that this is something that we need to fight for, and this is something that we need to accomplish and that we need to bring to action. I've specifically made it clear, and I wanted it to happen, that this walkout was for kids that were interested in it. No matter if you did walk out, no matter if you did take part in it, and no matter if you didn't take part in it, that your voice was still heard. That's what I wanted, that everyone's voice was heard, that everyone was getting their voice out there and was getting it clear to other people. Now I hope that the people that watched this video who were able to listen and were able to understand my story. I have been pushing and I've been commenting, I've been reaching out to the Parkland victims, March for Our Lives in Boston, the organizers, to try to make sure that I can say my full entire speech. This is just a section of it. An entire full speech to people in front of everyone. Because this is my story, and this is what I'm living up to, and this is my story, and no one can change it. No one can. And I still fear that today. I have a sibling who is 7 years old, and I fear about him every single day. It's so easily accessible to get into our schools. No one understands what it's like. We had to do every single month a lockdown drill. It's like a reality now. We can't continue to do that. This is not how we can do that, and I will not have that happen. We deserve to go to school. It causes more fear if we do lockdown drills. In my new school, I walk in and no one is prepared. No one is. I'm tired of it. I'm trying all my best to make sure that this is something people can hear and relate to. This is something where, this is something I'm proud of, to write this in front of other people and to share my story and to work with kids, some amazing kids, to get something done. I'm going to the March for Our Lives in Boston. Regardless if I'm not doing my speech and if no one comes back to me, I'm going there and I'm fighting not just for myself, I'm fighting for my friends back home in Connecticut, my friends here in Massachusetts, every single person, for Parkland, Great Mills in Maryland, for other schools across the country, and for other teens. This is for you. The adults and people and the representatives in Congress, you need to understand, if you have never lived with this fear and you never have gone through it, and if you don't know what it's like, do us a favor and shut up. This is something that is serious, something that I fear of, other people fear of. You need to listen to them. You're the ones that need to listen, not us need to listen to you. We are the ones where you are supposed to listen to us. Change will come, and I will be like everyone else, every teen, and I will make sure that we will bring it.